Welcome back to DVC Weekly. This is episode 19. My name is Jason Erpelding. I'm the broker of Buy and Sell DVC. With me, of course, is Scott Ferrioli,
the owner of DVC-RENTAL.com and BuyandSellDVC.com.
Today is June 16th, 2021. So your 11-month window for your home resort is going to be May 16th, 2022, which is also my dad's birthday. So happy birthday 11 months in advance to my dad.
Happy birthday.
And the 7-month window is going to be January 16th, 2022. Now, quick, as always, if you're looking to rent points, rent out your points, it's DVC-rental. Remember the dash to save the cash. Right. And if you're looking to sell or buy a DVC property, you want to come to Buy and Sell DVC. Today we're gonna start out with our first guest that is going to share their personal experience and how they use their Disney Vacation Club points.
Live guest?
It's not a live guest.
All right. There is one possibly coming up in a few weeks, though, right?
I believe so.
Possibly might have a live guest on with us. Ooh.
So this is King Ingraham, and he's going to share a little video on how he uses points, some different things. So we hope you enjoy. And again, if you want to share any tips or your personal experiences, please reach out to me at jason@buyandselldvc.com, and I can send you an info on how to set that up. So let's enjoy King's video here.
Love the King. Great guy.
Hi, folks. My name is King, also known as King O Miami on YouTube and Instagram and other social media platforms. My wife and I have been DVC members since 2007. We have a 50-point contract at the Boulder Ridge Villas within the Wilderness Lodge Resort. We were asked by the good people of Buy and Sell DVC to explain how we use our membership, especially seeing that we have a smaller point contract. We actually bought our contract, as I said, back in 2007, but we actually got it through Jason Erpelding at the time. He did a great job, answered all of our questions, made sure that everything we were comfortable with through the process. Once we became members, we've only stayed at Wilderness Lodge, or Boulder Ridge Villas rather, twice, the last time being in 2012. The rest of the time, when I book a resort, I book at the 11-month window, and then once at Boulder Ridge Villas. Once we hit the 7-month window, I go ahead and waitlist us to whatever other resort that we want to get into. And except for 2 times, both of which trying to book the villas at Grand Floridian, we got our request at the 7-month, within a month of the 7-month window opening. So we have stayed at Bay Lake Tower, Boardwalk, Beach Club Villas. We've stayed at all of the resorts again, except for Grand Floridian, Copper Creek, and then also Riviera. But very, very simple, folks. I book it online at the 11-month window. Once we hit that 7-month window, I have gone through almost every time with just waitlisting the resort. And again, within a couple of weeks to about a month or so, our waitlist has come in, except, like I said, for Grand Floridian. A couple of times, I did call member services to ask them to make that switch. But for the most part, I just do it online, so I don't have to wait on hold. Even though the folks, of course, at DVC member services are fantastic, a lot of the times I'm doing it while I'm on my lunch break, for example. But very simple. We bank and borrow because we normally take a trip maybe once a year, more often than not every other year. So I've become rather adept at banking and borrowing our points, and we make the most of it, and we have a wonderful time every time that we're there. So anytime, if you have any questions, please, you're more than welcome to reach out to me on, like I said, on YouTube or Instagram. It's King O Miami. Good friends with Scott Ferrioli for several years. He's a stand-up guy. I would happily do business with him. Hopefully the time's coming soon that we're going to look to add on points. And we will most certainly look to speak with Scott and Jason when that time does arise. Have a great day, folks, and welcome home.
So I hope you enjoyed his video on how he uses his membership. And we're going to go right into waitlisting, because the one thing from King's video is he owns at Boulder Ridge. He likes to make his reservation at Boulder Ridge 7 to 11 months in advance. He probably makes it right at 11 months. And then once it's under 7 months, he likes to wait list, the other properties. I'm not sure if he mentioned in the video or he's mentioned to us in the past. He's only stayed at Boulder Ridge twice, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
Since 2007. So, and I know on the different Facebook groups, a lot of times the waitlist questions come up. So I'm going to shoot some questions at you on the waitlist, because I think that you're our waitlist expert.
I think we're using the term expert loosely here, but I've done waitlists before for clients and mostly our own family, so.
So let's use an example. Let's just say, we'll say King makes a reservation for Boulder Ridge. We'll say he makes it 11 months in advance, okay? So I guess the first question is, he can't begin a wait list until it's under 7 months, or can he?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. You have to wait till the 7-month window to set up the wait list for the other resort.
So now he wants to wait list. Let's say he wants to wait list 3 different resorts: Boardwalk, Beach Club, and we'll say Polynesian. Okay. So
the first thing is you're only allowed to have 2 wait lists.
Okay.
So you'd have to pick which 2 you want to wait list for.
I set him up for that. See.
I wasn't sure. See, again, we don't go over this a lot of times. So I was like, does Jason know it's only 2, or is he setting it up here? Nicely done. Beautiful setup. So yeah, when it's time to wait list, you could set up to two wait lists at a time. And you have the choice to wait list for either, to have the wait list cancel 31 days prior to arrival or 7 days prior to arrival. And the reason is, if you cancel a reservation less than 31 days in advance, any leftover points go into a holding account, which means that they can only be used for reservations up to 2 months in advance. So once points go into holding, essentially they're really hard to use. So if you're going to set up a wait list for a room that's less points than what you currently have, you really would want to do it before the 31. You want to have it set up for 31 days, because that way the points don't go into holding. If you wait to the 7 days prior, you might have a better chance of getting the wait list, because they'll have a last minute cancellations. But if you've got a wait list for 100 points, so your reservation's for 100 points and the wait list is for an 80-point reservation, and it comes through 10 days before check-in, all those extra points go into holding. So you definitely want to do it for the 31-day mark. Anything that's more points than what you currently have, you're definitely safe for the 7 day prior to arrival, because worst case scenario, it uses the points and there's no holding because you're using the additional points.
And I think this is the first time that we've ever used the term hold status in any of our videos. So I just want to just touch on that real quick. So like he says, if your points go into hold status, I've had my fingers here. This is my 60-day window. They have to be used in a 60-day window, which keeps moving. So if you have points in hold status and it is June 16th, your reservation has to be between June 16th and August 16th or August 15th.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
That's the window, and it just keeps moving. So if you check June 30th, it's then August 29th. So that's the hold status. You're trying to avoid the hold status because, again, they have to be used in that 60-day floating window, and they have to be used by the end of your use year. You can't bank them.
Exactly.
Things like that.
I was just going to mention that, so good call.
So now we'll go back to the wait list. So you can pick 2 resorts, and
two, not just 2 resorts, just 2 options. So it's not like you could say, I'll take Animal Kingdom, Standard, Savannah, Value View, and Beach Club, regular option. You only have 2 wait lists total. So if you say you want Animal Kingdom, the Standard View and the Savannah View, those are your 2 wait lists. Even though it's the same exact resort, you've wasted them both just on that one option.
Okay. So now you have 2. So do you pick one as priority number 1?
You do not. It's whichever one happens to come through.
Okay.
So I'm trying to think now, like if one comes through, I think, the other wait list automatically should cancel unless you have it set up in advance not to. So little trickier stuff, but yeah, it's just kind of whichever one comes through.
And you want to make sure that you have it checked. So again, back to King, he has a Boulder Ridge reservation and then you check it so the wait list comes through, that Boulder Ridge reservation is canceled.
Correct. There's the option to not do that if you don't want to. For some reason, if you want an additional room, you can get that second room and not cancel the original reservation. But as King would do if he's just, he's at Boulder Ridge and wants to go to, I forgot which resort you picked, but
I
know he loves beach club, so he wants to go to beach club. You just want to set it up so it does cancel that reservation, so you're not sitting there holding two reservations by accident.
And let's see, what else should we cover on waitlist? Because so the other question is, so if your waitlist comes through, do you sometimes get an email?
That seems to be the case. I mean, you're supposed to get an email from Disney Vacation Club to let you know that your waitlist has come through. It really just depends how great the Disney system is working. We've seen people that have not gotten their emails. You just have to randomly check on your dashboard on your DVC page to see the waitlist come through. But Disney is supposed to send you an email as well. They used to send out physical letters in the mail. They no longer do that. So it's supposed to go to your email. But if you're worried, I would check periodically as well.
And then it's simple to just, let's say King has the Boulder Ridge, he waitlists 2 properties, but then he says, you know what, I just want to stay at Boulder Ridge. It's simple to cancel your waitlist.
It's just logging in and just clicking a button to cancel the waitlist. And one thing I will mention as well, that if you do have the waitlist and if you're better at computers, not that you have to be super computer literate for this, but a lot of times when somebody cancels a room, it's supposed to automatically go through and check people who are on the wait list for the reservations. However, Disney's system doesn't automatically do it, or sometimes it's not an immediate thing. So sometimes, if King has a wait list for Beach Club, somebody could cancel the room and you could log into the DVC site and that Beach Club room could still be sitting there and the wait list will not have gone through. So if you have a wait list and you want to be a little proactive, periodically check the Disney site as well, because sometimes it could possibly be there without filling your wait list. So you may want to manually grab the room if possible.
So then the other tricky part is, so let's say a member owns at Grand Cal, Saratoga, and Copper Creek, and they want a wait list, and if the wait list comes through, they want Disney to use the Saratoga Springs points, because they want to keep their Grand Cal, so they have that 7 to 11 month window points for Grand Cal. So any tips on that, or?
Yeah, that one definitely can be trickier if you have multiple contracts under the same exact membership. So the best thing to do would be, at that case, when you put in your wait list, to call Disney for that one. Don't set it up online, because I believe Disney's system automatically uses the points that are expiring first. If they're under the same membership, they all expire at the same time, but if you've got banked points, in theory, it's supposed to use those first, but if you want to use those Saratogas and not the Grand Californians, and the Grand Californians are the ones with the banked points, in theory, it's going to use those first. So the best thing to do would be to call Disney on the phone and specifically set it up and say, hey, please use, the Saratoga points if this becomes available. There is a chance that afterwards, if it goes through with the wrong points, you can call Disney and have them reallocate the points for you. But safest bet, just call Disney when you do the wait list. That way it's set up exactly how you want it, and you don't have to worry about any issues.
And then the other thing with the wait list is, if you do a wait list and it's going to borrow points, you're going to have to borrow points to complete the reservation if it comes through. When you make the wait list, there's a screen or something that pops up, correct, that says, be aware you're going to be borrowing.
Correct. Yep. See, waitlisting is a tricky one, and that's why a lot of times it shows up on Facebook message boards and stuff like that, because there's so many different intricacies and there's different results that happen. It's a trickier subject, so it's always good to try to address it. And I mean, again, anything can happen with the Disney system. Maybe the email comes through, maybe it doesn't, maybe it uses the wrong points, maybe it doesn't. But I mean, that's basically how the wait lists work, and it's just something good, I think, that you decided to bring up and address today.
And I think the key things to remember are, if you're waitlisting for something that's going to require less points, you want to set it up so that the waitlist stops searching more than 31 days in advance. That way,
Correct.
You don't run into any points and hold status.
That's the main thing. A lot of people get messed up with that one. Is a lot, as an example, like Animal Kingdom, like everybody wants the value views because they're such a great deal. You've got the standard view and you waitlist the value and you go, okay, 7 days in advance will increase my chances of getting it. I'll wait till closer. You don't realize that you're going to be using less points, and now all those extra points are are in holding, and it really messes you up. So that's probably the best thing to take away is that be careful of which 31-day or 7-day option you select.
And of course, you can always, if someone was really trying to get that value and they had a reservation someplace else, say for 6 nights, and then they put the wait list for the value at 5 nights, so it would be less points, they can do that as well, correct?
Correct. I think so. I think, I'm not 100% sure. I think that's the case. But so in that scenario, that would be less days and less points. So did you mean to like reverse those? Or?
Well, no, so I was, because let's say someone really wanted that value.
Mm-hmm.
And so they knew that if they picked fewer days in the value, then they wouldn't get points and hold status if they waited till up to the 7-day mark before.
Well, if they did less days in the value, which is already cheaper, less nights would be even cheaper points.
Right, I didn't mean, I did have that backwards. Yes,
okay.
They would want to do more nights, so then they would get.
That's yes.
Okay,
you can do that as well.
Okay.
If you know it's good.
Sorry, yes, I had that backwards there. That's don't follow that advice there.
It's all shot live, folks. It's all good.
So then that would help them avoid the points and hold status because they're going from less points to more points.
Correct.
Okay. Anything else we want to say on the wait list?
I thought that's all I can think of for waitlist right now.
I mean, it is a very popular thing. Like if for some reason you've never done it, there are a lot of members that do it consistently, have success with it. It works for them. The one thing from the different Facebook groups is people don't always get the email.
Yeah.
So you want to check the dashboard, whether you're going to log in daily or at least once a week. You definitely, or before you leave, you definitely want to know which resort you're checking into.
Yeah.
So now we're going to go into Scott's weekly food review.
Come here, I'm gonna eat you! Get in my belly!
So for the food review, we're back at Universal Studios. I checked out the San Francisco pastry shop. That had been shut down for a while. It just came back somewhat recently. Dying over here, using water. Somebody bring me a water? That'd be great. A little help. And we tried the caramel cheesecake, which was $5.49. Now, I love cheesecake. This had more of like a flan or like gelatinous texture. It was not like creamy like a normal cheesecake. So I was not a huge fan of this at all. As mentioned, all shot live in one take. So when your throat's hurting and you're dying and you didn't bring water, it's not good. So I only give this a 5.2. I mean, it's still decent. It's one of those things that, I figure 5 is kind of like average. It's a little above average. I wouldn't get this again. They also do offer an AP discount or, their annual pass discount, which is 10% off. But I mean, it was decent. I wouldn't really get it again, but we try to be honest with the reviews. I mean, I know there's a lot of places out there that whenever they do Disney dining stuff, I mean, they tell you everything is wonderful. So we try to be as honest. So when I test something, I don't want people to be upset with us. I want us to be honest and go, this wasn't that great. It was fair at best. So
I mean, it's not every day that you hear the term gelatinous texture. That's unique right there.
So do you like cheesecake?
It's not my favorite.
There's cheesecake normally. Sometimes it depends. There's 2 different types. There's like a New York style, which is a little more thick, and then other ones that just like a creamier. But it's always like a creamy, nice texture. This was like a thick flan or something. It's like cutting through, just like gelatinous. It wasn't the right texture. It tasted okay, but it was off. Don't get me wrong, we ate the whole cheesecake, but I wouldn't personally get this again.
Was it all 4 this time that tried it?
It was just the wife and I.
Oh, okay.
And when it's the wife and I, that normally means that I end up eating about 75% of it myself.
Gotcha.
So it's not really good for any diets or trying to eat healthy when you're trying to do these. And the kids are at camp or the kids are at school, and I'm just one sacrificing myself and my body for this.
The viewers appreciate it.
You're welcome, guys. You're welcome.
So now we're going to discuss a little bit on the Florida, or I guess we should say Orlando summers, because there are some people, of course, that try to avoid coming in the summer because they think it's too hot or it's too rainy or it's too many bugs, whatever the case may be. So, I mean, if you've never experienced a Florida summer, to me, the one thing about a Florida summer is it's pretty much consistent, as far as the weather patterns, the rain. I've been here since December of '97. There have been a couple summers where we went too long without rain, and then there was fires and things like that. But for the most part, you're going to get the rain on a regular basis. So just to give you an idea, so June 16th, the historic average is 91. The record high is 99, and the record low is 61. Now, majority of the time, the temperature in Orlando, the actual temperature does not get above 100 degrees, but it's the feels like temperature that's going to be over 100 degrees because you have the humidity with it. Yep. So, and of course, the other thing is hurricane season starts June 1st. It ends November 30th. Now, for the most part, the major things that happen with the hurricanes happen in September, historically. But of course, there's always going to be outliers of, this happened, or 2004, all the hurricanes that came over the summer. But for the most part, it's going to be September. Now, one thing I just want to touch on that real quick is if you're staying at Disney and there's a hurricane, to me, there's not a safer place to be. I mean, there are a lot of people that I know that live locally that when a hurricane comes, they go to Disney.
That's what we did the last time.
Okay. And number one, it's safe. Number two, Disney does all these activities for kids and games and all sort, the arcade, I think, opens up for free sometimes, not every time. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, I mean, so if you're here and a hurricane's coming, to me, there's no safer place to be. That's just my opinion.
And truthfully, I mean, if you've got a trip planned for it and there's a hurricane coming, I mean, the hurricane's normally in and out in a day or less. So, I mean, there's really no reason not to. You know, you'll be relatively safe here. You're going to be protected. I mean, when we stayed in the hurricane, they told us that all the resorts are built up to withstand a hurricane five severity hurricane, and all of the windows at the resorts are for up to Hurricane 4 standards. So, I mean, there's no safer place to be. I mean, we went there, wrote it out. I mean, again, Disney was absolutely great. They had tons of activities going on. At the restaurants, they lowered the prices for everybody. So everybody really had the option to go eat there as well. And I mean, it was one of those things that I was supposed to come overnight. And I went to bed at, whatever it was, 10:30 at night. And the hurricane, really hit between, I'm making up the numbers, something, 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. was like the main hurricane time. Whole family slept through the whole thing. Everybody in the neighborhood around us here, these recently built houses, they said their houses were shaking. Disney, we slept through the whole thing. It was beautiful, didn't even recognize it. Woke up in the morning at 7 o'clock in the morning, peeked outside and just saw that there were like some branches down and it was sunny already. And I was like, oh, I guess we missed the hurricane. It was great. So I mean, anytime there's a hurricane, I'm physically gonna take my family and go to Disney because I know they've got food, they've got electricity, they've got backup generators. If God forbid something happened to your family, I mean, they've got EMT staff there that they can get to you. I mean, there's no better place to be in a hurricane than at Disney. So. And
for the most part, I mean, really, by the time a hurricane comes to Orlando, it's Category 3 or less.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Like he says, they're for, the buildings are for Category 5. The windows are probably for like Miami-Dade, hurricane force winds. So, that's why his family is able to sleep through it and, nothing's going to happen. So as far as the weather pattern goes in the summer, I mean, for the most part, if you've never experienced a Florida rain, to me, there's a Florida summer rain. There's nothing like it. Like, I'm from Iowa where I played high school baseball and then you'd have some rain and then you still played the game while the rain was going on. In Florida, when it rains in the summer, for the most part, it is like it's like a monsoon. It is like someone is dumping a bucket on Orlando when it rains. I mean, it is.
Yeah, he can come on pretty quick, and it's strong. But just as quickly as as it comes in, it's gone.
Right.
And that's the whole joke is if Florida summers, from like 2 to 3 p.m. every single day. It rains. It looks like you'll see the storms in the sky. It gets blackout, and it rains, and that's gone, and the sun comes back out, and normally it's dropped 10 degrees. So sometimes it's not a bad time to go after the storm as well, because the rain has helped cool it down a little bit. But then sometimes it starts getting a little humid with all that rain. So
yeah, for the most part, like he says, the joke is, the weatherman says 1:59, it's, perfect weather. 2 o'clock, it rains. 2:45, it's like the weather was at 1:59. And that's, for the most part, that's the pattern. It's now sometimes you get rain that lasts longer, but for the most part, that's it. Now, I just want to mention, so when it rains like this and you're driving, a lot of times, because of the rain, because of the visibility, you'll see people with their hazard lights on. Now, when
I shared this on Facebook the other day.
When I first moved here and I experienced my first summer rain while I'm driving, I'm like, what is going on? Like, I didn't realize that this was like almost a daily occurrence. I was like, again, it's a monsoon. So you see all the cars with the hazard lights on. I'm like, okay, well, that makes sense because I can, barely see 10 feet in front of me, things like that. Well, now when you drive on the I-4, you'll see signs that say, be sure to not put your hazards on, during the rain, because I guess maybe it's always been illegal, I don't know. But then I see where starting July 1st, you may be able to have your hazards on. But anyway, if you're driving in this, just be safe, of course, and be prepared for lots of rain.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing I want to mention is, so in the summer, are you a big sunscreen guy, or are you?
Yeah, we were discussing this earlier. Is that I'm more of a sunscreen person. I don't like wearing hats. I've never been a hat guy, and just they make me feel a little hotter in the sun because they hold in your heat. So I've never been a real hat guy. So I'm more of sunscreen.
So if you're staying at Beach Club and you're going to walk over to Epcot, it's sunscreen protection before you.
Sunscreen, lip protection, and pretty good to go. Mostly just like on my head, mostly like forehead is the hair is running back for me. Got to protect the head. So head and lips. But like the rest of me, not so much. I'm used to it. I don't get too burned, but yeah.
Gotcha. So for me, I don't know.
We have props.
I brought props here today. So for me, I go with the hat. Now, this hat probably needs to be cleaned a little bit more. This hat's probably been worn,
Put it on.
I don't know, 3,000 times. Who knows? But if I go to the parks, now, sometimes I'll wear like a long sleeve Columbia shirt, like the fishing shirts for sun protection. But I do apply sunscreen, but I don't like, putting sunscreen all over my entire head, because I have a little bit more to protect up there. But so I usually wear a hat. And for me, the hat, this is it says, the airflow Tilly hat, this keeps me cool, keeps the sun out, it keeps my, the sun off my neck. I wear this, this is what I choose to wear, pretty much all year round. So I don't have to put sunscreen on my head. And then when it comes to rain protection, like he says, you're going to be at Magic Kingdom and there's going to be a downpour and it's going to end 45 minutes later. Now, a lot of people just will go to an indoor area during this, or you'll see ponchos flying off the shelf. So
Disney makes sure they reel out those ponchos real quick when the rain's coming. They want to capitalize and make that money as quickly as they can.
I did bring some props for the rain. You do have this option here. I'm just going to let you know. If, let's say you're a family of 6, you want some rain protection, you don't have a lot of room, you can take your lawn bags and you can just simply cut out the head, cut out the arms, and you have your half-hour rain protection for when the downpour comes down.
Plus, you look good. It looks really nice.
You're able to walk around. Now, but one thing I do want to mention with Disney and the bugs.
They have bugs?
Well, so do they have bugs?
Around Disney has bugs. Disney, not so much. Disney does a really great job of making sure that you're not uncomfortable when you're there. So There's mosquitoes in Florida. There's tons of lakes around here, so that there are bugs and lots of mosquitoes. Disney does a great job of making sure there's no mosquitoes. They've got special birds.
I think this is like breaking information here.
Did you remember the name of the bird?
I already
That's what I
forgot
was
the name
telling
of the
us.
bird.
It was the martins, the blue martins or purple martins that come in from Brazil. That they actually have special bird houses, and they eat all the mosquitoes. They also have bat houses around the property, and I'm sure they do some sort of other possible pest control and stuff. But I mean, I've been going to Disney for years. Barely ever have I gotten bitten by a mosquito. I mean, outside by my house here, it's not too bad during the day, but we're on a conservation area, and at nighttime, you get bitten sometimes by mosquitoes. But Disney property, barely ever. They do a fantastic job.
If you're worried about coming to Disney and you're worried about the bugs, I mean, again, Disney is trying to keep it so you're never going to see a mosquito, never going to feel a mosquito. They have the birds there to take care of the mosquitoes. So, I mean, I think that's wonderful news. Yeah. So again, Disney's safe. The property's safe if there's a hurricane that's coming. They got ponchos available if you're trying to keep the afternoon's rain off of you. They're trying to keep the bugs out.
I just put a dome over the property, essentially.
Exactly.
You're protected.
And I will. We were going to mention what's our favorite resort to stay, DVC resort to stay in the summer. I mean, for me, it's Bay Lake Tower because I'm right across the street from Magic Kingdom. So my family, we can walk to Magic Kingdom. If we see, hey, 15 minutes, looks like it's going to downpour, we can walk back to Bay Lake Tower, go into Bay Lake Tower. I like the pool. I like the lake there. I don't have to worry about the bugs because of the birds. So for me, it's Bay Lake Tower. Scott, what's your choice?
Honestly, I think it's about the pools probably at that point in the summer. Whoever's got the best pool. Personally, I think Storm Along Bay at Beach Club has the best pool, so maybe I would say Beach Club for the summers. But I mean, as you know, there are so many others that have fantastic pools. Polynesian, Animal Kingdom, Kidani, Grand Floridian, and Bay Lake. They've all got really great pools, but I'd probably have to go with Beach Club. Also, easy access to both to Hollywood Studios and Epcot, walking distance or Skyliner or boat. So Beach Club's a great choice in the summer as well.
So I hope that helps you if you're planning to come in the summer. If you have any comments that maybe we missed about traveling in the summer or any comments on the wait list, feel free to let us know. We hope you enjoyed. We appreciate you. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Anything you want to add?
Nothing else. Again, we appreciate all of you taking the time to watch us. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great day.